I thought I knew the meaning of betrayal. I thought I understood what it felt like for your world to crumble. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for the sheer, bone-chilling horror of what happened next, turning my entire life into a nightmare I couldn't wake from. For 16 years, she was my high school sweetheart, my wife, the mother of our 3 incredible daughters. 22 years together, a lifetime, it felt like. Then, 3 days ago, it all just vanished. She came home from work, frantic. I wasn't there, but my oldest daughter, who saw it all, said my wife was crying, distraught, almost in a panic. She packed an overnight bag and just left. No words, just tears. We tried everything, texts, calls, but nothing. Just silence. I called her parents, desperate for answers. They told me she was safe with them, asking for patience and understanding. Patience? Understanding? While my wife of 2 decades had vanished without a trace? I reached out to her sister, her brother, even a close work friend. Her brother claimed he knew nothing. Her friend said she was at work that morning, then gone by lunch. That was it. For 3 agonizing days, we heard nothing. Not a word from my wife, not even to her own children. My 3 girls, 15, 13, and 11, looked at me with those heartbroken eyes, asking, "Dad, what happened? Did you guys have a big fight? Are you getting a divorce?" It killed me. We never fought. I had to tell them she was at Grandma and Grandpa's and we needed to be patient. But inside, I was screaming. I wanted to just pack them up and drive the 3 hours to her parents' house, demand answers. Sitting in that limbo, that void of information, was a special kind of hell. My mind raced. If someone had passed away, wouldn't her family have told me? If it was some past trauma, wouldn't I be the first person she'd lean on? Nothing made sense. I was worried, scared, angry, every awful emotion you can imagine. Then, the truth came out. Not from her, but because I was so desperate, I called the police for a wellness check, just like many of you suggested. And that's when everything shattered. My wife, my high school sweetheart, had been having an affair for at least 2 years. Probably longer. And the other man, her affair partner, he'd had a heart attack and passed away. My mother-in-law, and probably her sister too, had known. They'd been covering for her. The news hit me like a physical blow. Still no contact from her, not to me, not to the girls. I was trying to shield them from it, but how do you shield your kids from a gaping wound in your family? It was the end of me, honestly. My personal D-Day was that Friday. The affair wasn't just 2 years, it was possibly even longer. The man she cheated with, this AP, she'd known him for ages. The details kept trickling in, tearing new holes in my soul. I met with lawyers, started looking into therapy, but the waitlists were endless. I was a zombie, navigating acronyms and paperwork, trying to breathe through the constant cycle of depression and raging anger. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford. My wife was everything to me. My best friend, the mother of my children. We had inside jokes, secret handshakes. Now, it was all gone. Every milestone, every laugh, every memory felt tainted, worthless to her. How could she? That question, unanswerable, clawed at me. I'd scream into my pillow, punch the mattress until my arms ached. The only energy I had left, I poured into our girls, who, God bless them, were trying to take care of me. It was so unfair. Just over a week after D-Day, my in-laws showed up. They spent maybe 15 minutes with the girls, then pulled me aside. My wife was staying with them, but they clearly wanted her gone. Long story short, she wanted to come home. She was afraid to face her actions. Her parents practically begged me to forgive her, to rebuild the marriage, trying to sway me. I misled them, said I was uncertain. But in my heart, I knew, divorce was the only way. I just needed time to get the truth from her, to understand. For my kids, I wanted to show I gave her a chance to explain. Legally, I couldn't stop her from coming home. My lawyer made that clear. So, I made a demand, something I hoped would buy me time. She could come home if she sat down with me, looked me in the eyes, and revealed everything about her affair, start to finish. And then, she'd have to do the same for the girls, apologize to them in person. She'd been texting the girls, apologizing, saying she didn't want a divorce. The reality of what she'd done was hitting her. Then, she came home. The air was thick with an awful, suffocating awkwardness. I usually greeted her with a hug, a kiss. This time, I just turned away. After she settled in, I asked her to tell me everything. Again, I'm not ready. I reminded her, that was the only condition for you to come back. She just repeated it. I took a deep breath, trying not to explode. I failed. You've been having an affair for over 4 years, I blurted out. With your coworker. You planned on leaving me for him, you ghosted your entire family, and now you walk back in here without fulfilling the one single condition I asked for? I want a divorce. That's when things got truly bizarre. Her eyes went wide. She had no idea how much I knew. She just stood there, staring at the floor, silent, stoic. I'd prepared for tears, screaming, blame, anything but this absolute silence. We stood there for what felt like an eternity, 5 agonizing minutes in our kitchen. I decided then and there, maybe foolishly, to lay out everything I knew, adding my own assumptions about her sister's involvement, COVID, everything. She just stared at the floor. My anger grew with every word she didn't say. Finally, I composed myself, and in the quiet that followed, the anger turned to crushing sadness. What did I do to push you away? I asked softly. Did you ever love me? Was he worth it? Nothing. No tears, no apology, no explanation. Just her, head down, offering nothing. The pain was worse than D-Day itself. And then, the worst part, our daughters, who'd been eavesdropping, stormed downstairs. My oldest unleashed weeks of pent-up anger. My wife just ran upstairs, locked herself in the bedroom. That's where we were. I heard her crying most of that night. I was wrong about her. Wrong about our years, our memories. I was convinced she'd beg for forgiveness, that she'd unload the truth to absolve her guilt. This woman once drove back to a farmer's market because she was given $1 too much change. But we weren't worth it to her. I wasn't worth it. Now what? Cohabitating was a nightmare. I just wanted to fast forward through the divorce, the awkwardness, the drama. My mind was a whirlwind of rage and despair. Weeks passed. The divorce papers were filed, but she hadn't hired a lawyer. I was trying for an uncontested divorce, for the kids' sake, but it was impossible. She'd go to her sister's on weekends, returning Sunday nights. During the week, we avoided each other, a fragile truce, except for my oldest, who wasn't speaking to her mother. I worked hard on my self-discipline, staying polite but distant. Then, one Friday, she was waiting for me. I tried to walk past, but she lightly grabbed my hand. Is this how you're going to treat me just because I'm not ready to talk about my affair? Those words, the first time she'd even mentioned cheating since everything exploded. Our daughters weren't home. I genuinely tried to restrain myself, to just walk away. But the rage, the pain, the misery I'd been bottling up for weeks, it erupted. I unleashed it all. I don't know how long I went on for. I raised my voice, got animated. I broke down, telling her how broken I was, the agony I felt every single day. I cried, I was so angry at myself for losing control. But then, something happened. For the first time, she broke down. She started sobbing uncontrollably, mumbling apologies. I hate to admit it, but seeing her hurt, seeing her tears, there was a twisted satisfaction in it. It meant there was someone in there, an ounce of compassion. I'm so sorry, she kept saying. I couldn't take it. I just left the kitchen, asked her to leave me alone. She eventually left for her sister's. My girls came home, knew something had happened. I wasn't ready to talk about it. I hated myself for it, for losing control. But looking back, maybe she was trying to talk, and I just exploded. I still found myself worrying about her. She was isolated, everyone had turned their back on her. She deserved the consequences, but she was still human, the mother of my kids. Then, a month after she came home, she finally talked. We went to my car, away from the kids. For almost 3 hours, she told me everything. Her sister introduced her to him 5 years ago, before COVID. He was a higher-up, got her a job at his company. Then the flirting started, the texting, the pictures, the physical affair just before COVID hit. She confessed to her sister, wanted to tell me, but buried it. When lockdowns lifted, he reached out, and she went back. It never truly ended. She had a 5-page packet of handwritten notes, detailing every lie, weekend trips, work travel, traffic jams, issues with her parents, shopping trips. Lies, all of them, to be with him. It made me feel worse, just as everyone said it would. Her affection never dipped, intimacy changed but wasn't a red flag. She admitted falling in love with him, fantasizing about a life with him, his promises of expensive things. She found family life boring. She was remarkably candid, emotional. Midway through, I started crying. When she finished, she told me she loved me, always had, and would do anything to save our marriage. It felt rehearsed, disingenuous. I'd known this woman half my life, I could tell when she was full of crap. I got angry again, said some not-so-nice things, even a jab about her AP seeing other women. That seemed to really upset her. I asked her, the one thing I knew I had to ask, if he were still alive, and you had to choose between him and me, who would you pick? She hesitated. Mumbled, that's not fair. I pressed her, and she eventually said me. Your hesitation, I told her, that's why we're divorcing. It proves you're still lying. She broke down, sobbing. I was exhausted. We're divorcing, I said. We have to be civil for the girls, be great parents. And then, I said the last thing I would ever say to her. Something I stole from online, but I meant it with every fiber of my being. I leaned over, kissed her on the forehead, and said, I would have loved you forever. Then I got out of the car and went to bed. I didn't sleep. I haven't slept. She cheated because she was bored. Not because we grew apart, or had issues, or a dead bedroom. Bored. And then, just a month after that conversation, she was gone. My wife. She took her own life. The house is silent now. The reality of these past months has set in, leaving a massive crater where my soul used to be. I tried to stay strong for the girls, through the affair, the cohabitation, the heart-to-heart talks. But now she's just gone. I can barely get out of bed. I replay our last conversation like a horror film. I told her I would have loved her forever, but that I wished I never had to see her again. I was hurting, vulnerable, tired of her desperation, her apologies. I was just tired. And now, in a cruel twist of fate, life granted my wish. And my daughters will be without their mother for the rest of their lives. My oldest is incredible, forcing me to eat, watching movies with me. The other two are slowly resuming life, school, sports. My mom and brother are a huge support. Therapy is a routine, for all of us. But the guilt, the sadness, it's crushing. I go because my oldest insists. I try to stay strong, to keep my faith, but I just want to scream, it's not fair, 1,000 times. I thought I was a good husband, a good father, a moral man. And I've been dealt this horrible hand. I feel weak, pathetic, empty. People tell me to look forward, that it gets better. They say I'm a great husband and father, that I didn't deserve any of this. They tell me her decision was hers, not mine, and I shouldn't blame myself for her death. That she suffered the loss of her affair partner, my love, our children's love, her reputation, and it was too much for her. It was a selfish act, they say, like setting off a grenade. Deep down, I know they're right. But I'm haunted by the what-ifs. Maybe one day, I'll find a way to forgive her. That's an undertaking I can barely comprehend right now. But for now, I'm just trying to make it through each day, for my girls. I'm trying to lift someone else up, hoping it will lift me too. This is just so incredibly hard. So hard.